Check 1, 2. Okay. Perry, you okay over there? I know you're hard of hearing. Okay.
This is Beach Talk Radio.
Good morning, Mr. and Mrs. America, and all ships at sea. This is your captain speaking, Mean Gene. Mean Gene. The following will be a test of the ship's whistle, the sonar alarm, the cable alarm, and the atomic attack alarm.
Ladies and gentlemen, broadcasting live 100 feet from the Gulf of America. Here are your award-winning social media superstars, the hosts of Beach Talk Radio, Kim and Ed Ryan.
Yeah, thank you very much. Big hand for Kim Ryan. By a round of applause, how many people here are from Minnesota? Round of applause, Perry, not raise your hand. Yesterday, our entire audience was from Minnesota, which was interesting and lovely. We love Minnesota. For anybody that doesn't know, we do a show here every Sunday for an hour-ish with the mayor of Fort Myers Beach, soon to be the president of Cuba and or Venezuela. But we'll get to him in a minute. I did want to make sure that I mentioned our sponsors of the show, in addition to Wahoo Willie's. Today's sponsors are Tri-Town Construction, the Island Pancake House, and also Power Block and Eagle Eye Aluminum. So we are going to weave those ads into the show a little bit better today. But before
Glad you got the memo about that.
Yes, before we get to the man of the hour, who recently had a birthday, by the way, the other day.
Yeah, Friday night, Dave Newton had a birthday.
Yeah.
It's a birthday bonanza.
Nobody knows who Dave Newton is. He's running for
well,
city
these
council.
Guys do.
Well, these guys do, and those guys do from Cape Coral. And Dan had a birthday. How old were you, Dan? 55. Wow. You look so young, Dan. You look 28 for somebody 55. I need to tell a quick story. So we have 3 dogs, as many of you know that follow the show. And one of the things that's my responsibility is the dogs, because she goes and hangs out with the grandson all the time, like every day.
So jealous.
So the other day, now Cookie is we have a bulldog who's like 13 years old.
No, first of all, she's 14.
14.
And let me just say that I Googled like what we could do about her hips, because her feet are given out. And you know how when you do the Google and then it says, I can give you more information if you ask about this. So I put in, well, she's 14. And what came back was outstanding. That's unbelievable.
Yeah. If you've never had a bulldog, they're not supposed to live that long.
Don't do anything. You're on borrowed time, lady.
So the dog, at this point, the dog can't really see. The dog can't really hear. I have to pick her up to get her on the couch. I mean, it's getting close to the end of the rope here. So, but the one thing the dog can do is knock over the big barrel of food that we have. And so what she does is she lets Cookie out in the back and then leaves the house and doesn't tell me Cookie's out in the back. So I hear Petey, our puppy, scratching on the back door like he needs to go out.
Mind.
He doesn't need to go out. He sees that Cookie has knocked over the food and is eating all the food in the backyard. The dog is already 75 pounds overweight. And Petey's like, all the food is just outside this window and I can't get out. And she's out there eating it's all over. She's knocked it over and she's eating all the food. So I don't even know why I shared that story other than, I thought it was entertaining. And
I thought you were going to say how our other dog is all of a sudden now at 9 years old, she's decided she's going to start eating shoes.
I have new sneakers because our other dog, who's never eaten shoes before, ate my sneakers in 30 seconds. So they weren't wearable. And if you've ever bought sneakers these days, they're like $150 for some reason. They're not like they used to be back in the old days.
Your shoes, your sandals.
Sandals, yeah.
I've lost 4 pairs of shoes with the puppy.
Yeah.
I mean, we might as well just walk around barefoot at this point.
All right. Well, enough about us. Nobody cares about us except for the drive home when we do our little post-show video. You know what I was thinking? Come on down, Dan, while Dan is coming down. We had the chief on the show yesterday. If you didn't watch yesterday's show, we had the fire chief on. And Chief Worth is like the most disarming. I'm not saying this negatively toward any of our other guests ever. But Chief Worth never, he's so even keel. He never loses his temper. He's so convincing. You know, of course, he's a good looking dude and he's got his hair slicked back. And, you know, when we talk about
But isn't that what you want in a fire chief?
I guess.
Someone who's good under pressure.
Yeah. So we talk about the property tax thing, and he's really convincing about how that would impact public safety, which is not something I want anything to happen to, public safety. And by the way, speaking about the chief, I got an oil change. I know that I'm going twisting and turning here, but I got an oil change.
Did he fix your light?
He did.
I can't even believe he won't let me tell the story.
Because you want to move it along too. People
No.
are tired of your long.
Oh, look, the flag is back up in Cape Coral. That was a
Yep.
big story too.
Yeah.
So, we couldn't figure out either the mechanic who changed the oil. We were going through the computer, and the chief says to me, "Oh, I can fix it." Like he just said it so nonchalantly. So he gets in the truck and he comes back in. He goes, "I fixed it." So somehow on the computer he figured out how to do it. But that's
The guy can fly a drone from a computer.
I
I'm sure he
know.
can figure out a check
I
engine
know.
light.
man, that drone.
He is.
If you've never seen that drone, I don't know if you can get a tour of the new firehouse, but that's
if
not a
you-
drone like this. That's a monster drone.
mean,
If you want to see that, we did a video. Chief Worth and I did a full video. They launched it up. You could hear the people from the Lee County they're in Lee County operating it and talking it. And then he pulled it up on his phone, the app on his phone.
It's crazy.
I could see myself waving to myself as the thing came down. You could see the fire. They had a pretend fire, because they were practicing. But the technology that drone
It's
can
amazing.
do, but it does,
can
if
see
you're in
everybody
the
along
path
the
of
way.
it, you can see. So don't be doing anything stupid in the path of that drone.
Nobody does anything stupid on this beach.
You're always being watched. I mean, if you think you're not being watched,
We're being watched
please.
now. So
Don't go on to the
53,
cameras
by the way,
thing.
not 55.
53 years
Oh,
old. Very
nice.
nice, Dan. 50. How does it feel to be 53? And what did you get for your birthday?
Feels like 52.
Yeah, it does. Well,
Yeah.
Kim's got a birthday next week, everybody. So we're gonna go to the-
Yeah, enjoy every day.
we're gonna
Yeah.
go to the Hyatt and hang out at the pool at the Hyatt. We love the Hyatt in Bonita. They are it's like a Margaritaville kind of thing, but with 3
Yep.
pools.
Oh.
So I wanted to start with the property tax reform. I mean, if I look at the comments about how I was waffling on it now after the Chiefs interview, I think there's like 800 comments on that one thing because
People
I
hate
started.
you about
I know
that.
all of a sudden everybody that follows us turned on me because I was so
Amazing how
for
that
it
works,
last
isn't it?
week. And then you listen to him. Here's the challenge, Dan. It's hard to know who to trust. It's hard to know when. Don't take offense to this, please.
No.
When politicians talk about they can't cut anything, I think they haven't earned enough trust from the people to believe it. Everybody, I think, that's voting yes for it believes there's fat in budgets that can be cut. And so I think that it's hard for people to know who to trust. But then nobody really wants to impact public safety. I don't want it to be pushed off on the renters. I don't want it to be pushed off on a small business owner. And it seems like that's what might happen.
Well, it's possible. I mean, as I've said before, I don't know anybody that isn't for tax relief. I think everybody's for that. As I've said before, for me, it's being put in the Constitution. It's not so much about, let's just agree that there is fat in every municipal or every governmental agency that can be cut. Okay, if that's the case, that's fine. That goes away. But what I have an issue with is what's left. What's left to spend, it's being told that it can only be spent on certain things. It's taking away your local rule to be able to decide how you want to spend it. If in Gateway you decide you want a roundabout with a waterfall, you should be able to spend it on
Picking
that.
on us out
This
there.
amendment would potentially not allow you to have that voice. And that's where I have the issue with it. I think there's better ways that this could be done. I feel that it's being kind of rushed. And yes, it's going from 10% to 5% for renters and all that. But with a show of hands, who in here actually thinks a landlord is going to pass that 5% on to a renter? Not a single one, right? So is it really benefiting the renters? No, it's not. Is it really benefiting? Is the place going to drop the price of their burger because they're going from 10% to 5%? No, it's not. So it's in there as fluff, in my opinion. It's not really giving any benefit to the people that need it as well. I mean, homestead property is important. I think you should own your property. I think there's a way that you can do it. I talk about it all the time. If there's already a plan in place, and I'm just going to talk specifically about Fort Myers Beach. You talk about, there's talk about, well, it could be increased sales tax. It could be other things that get added. How about we start looking at how the valuations of the properties actually happen, right? Instead of doing it every year, why not look at a 5-year rolling or a 3-year rolling? That helps eliminate some of the spikes every single year, right? Things like that. Looking at, I talked about the TDC. If you were to just give back the town of Fort Myers Beach the amount of money that is generated from the town through the bed tax, we could eliminate everybody's property taxes on Fort Myers Beach 100%. It's already in place. It's just Tallahassee's got to make a change to do that. Now, that's not going to help Cape Coral. It's not going to help Fort Myers. It's not, that's not going to offset what a homestead property tax can do. But for the town of Fort Myers Beach, $4 or $5 million is the entire general fund budget.
I don't think they're going to do that.
Of course, they're not going to do it. But my point is looking at other opportunities to be able to make it so that everybody can benefit, whether you're a homesteaded property, whether, there's probably people that have in this room that have 5-6 homes on Fort Myers Beach or in the area. The chief mentioned it yesterday. He has rental properties that won't benefit from this,
right?
So
why wouldn't they carve out or cut out or make safe public safety?
They
well,
there's
that's
some language in it, but they weren't.
That's where people. I saw one of the comments on your 700 and whatever comments people had
894
going after you, if you saying you didn't read the bill. Well, if you read the bill, yes, it says that you can't touch that, but nowhere in the bill does it exclude independent tax districts like the chief told you yesterday.
Right.
So it does affect fire and safety, and it does affect tax districts that are outside of a municipal or a county budget. And I think that's where people aren't really noticing that it's going to take an effect on essential services when it comes to municipalities and fire and rescue and police. It just is.
Yeah, because the Fort Myers Beach Fire District is its own taxing district, so they're dependent on the millage. They're dependent on the tax base, and there are a lot of districts like that. I think the chief said our district in Gateway, South Trail, is the same way. We should talk to him. Well, maybe we'll try and have him on a Thursday show. And then the other thing is,
well, let me just say, to Chief did say, and because you and I argued, I kind of knew this, that his budget or any budget for a fire department is going to be pretty heavily weighted in staff and equipment. There's not a lot of, like a municipal budget might have more, a little bit of fluff or fat here or there. They're running pretty lean. I mean, if not, where are they putting it? Like what?
Well, I would say that the town is running fairly lean as well. If you look at our budget now,
but I'm saying there's more more things that you have
that
to
fall under
for.
Exactly.
Yes, yeah.
The chief, I think, mentioned it. Their core charge is public safety, right? Where the town, it's public safety on top of everything else, right?
Right.
It's parks, it's recreation, it's water, it's there's more things that the town it falls under its auspice than just public safety.
Absolutely. We said if we were living up, I'm doing it, huh? We were living up north. When you live up north, you buy a home, you buy a piece of property, and you build a house. But you're also having to do your own lawn, dig your own well, find a bleach field. There's no medians. There's no, you might get your road plowed, or you have to do it yourself. You're not getting any of the stuff that
the municipality
you get down here.
Right.
You're not getting sewer. You're not getting water. I mean, you're not catching it in a rain barrel. I mean, maybe back in the day, but if you want that, then go there.
I think the chief did a great job of explaining that, if you want to cut, that's fine. Just come in and tell us what you want to cut. You want to get rid of the Mound House? Let us know. You want to get rid of the Bay Oaks? Let us know. I mean, that's ways that you can really chew the fat, if you will, that some people may consider fat. I don't have any kids in school. I would love to not have to pay taxes on a school district, but I do, right? Doesn't mean I want to close schools.
Right.
So I think the chief said it best. I can't reiterate exactly what he said, but I thought he did a great job.
Yeah, if you didn't watch the show yesterday and you want to go back, the property tax discussion was at the end. We talked about lightning. We talked about the fire at the RV. Speaking of that, I thought you guys were getting rid of the RVs it had nothing to do with like a FEMA thing, but are those things, you can still have those on the island? Those it was a pull behind. That's what he said it was.
Yeah,
you can have those. You can have those.
Yeah, I mean,
Gotcha.
There's nothing that says you can't have
You
one.
got wheel. It has wheels. I don't remember exactly where it was, so that wasn't one of those. It wasn't an illegal RV or anything like that. It was a pull
It sounded
behind.
like you said people were living in it.
Yeah.
So it's probably someone rebuilding a house.
So
or
we're
something.
at 897 comments on the property tax thing. Obviously, people are interested in this. And then one guy says, when I said I'm waffling him on the fence, I didn't say I was voting no, but the chief was pretty convincing. This guy says, "Of course you are. You're an effing idiot." I mean, that's the kind of comments that I've been getting on this. You have to just read. We could do a show tonight, dear, where we just read the comments in different,
Voices?
Yeah, different voices, and then comment on the comments. That would be like,
I think that's why we all have a vote. Get out in November and cast your vote, and whatever happens, happens.
We all have a vote. We all have an opinion, just like
Exactly.
other parts that
Exactly.
we all have.
why don't we just charge you full sales tax on your new vehicle every year? Taxation is theft. End the theft.
Okay. Well, we're not.
Yeah,
going
I
to
mean,
do that.
it's very. The
I don't
comments are
think that there's
interesting.
anybody that disagrees that they'd love to not pay taxes. I mean, every time you go buy a vehicle, you're paying tax on that vehicle again, right? They maybe bought it the first time and paid tax, and then sold it to you, and you paid, and then you
Right.
paid. And then
Yeah,
how many times does a vehicle get taxed over its entire life? So
yeah.
I think everybody agrees on taxes, but you still need money to operate. You still
Yeah.
need money to provide services, and if you don't want services, then we'll cut the services, which would then cut the money.
Yeah, and
Well, and I think the chief said, that saying no on this just gives them the idea that they need to go, but does not know people want to. It's not a yes that we want to pay so much in taxes.
Right.
It's a no that this wasn't
This
the
bill isn't
right
the right
way
bill.
to do it.
Right. And I think that's my position is, yes, I would love to see taxes cut. I'd love to see them cut from the state level, not just the local level. We talk about billions of dollars that the state has. They've been gracious enough to send us money down since the storm and help us stay afloat, along with the fire district, along with the county, along with Sanibel. So we're obviously thankful that money's there. But if that money wasn't there, how do you rebuild? How do you rebuild after a storm?
yeah, and what the chief said yesterday was certainly true. As some counties, some
Yeah.
small towns are going to go bankrupt.
Without a
Some
doubt.
are going to.
Without a doubt.
They can't. Well, they will not be able to operate. And you don't really want. I mean, the state's going to have to come in and save them. So I mean, it's really
100%.
just a shifting of money in those areas where.
Well, and for those
Well,
smaller
it's going to put a bigger
counties,
burden. It's going to put a bigger burden on the people that I think they were intending to try to help. Like I said, with the 10% to 5%, that intent was to help renters, but nobody's going to pass that
Yeah.
money on to their renter.
Yeah.
No one's going to do that.
right, and
But
you
the other thing is it's going to shift the control from a local municipality to the state
well
if
on its
they
way.
have to come in and help
Yeah.
all of those small communities.
You know,
So there's
I
all
do-
of that.
I do always believe that government is too big. There's too much that they do. It was intended for something, and it's not the same thing. But I don't know exactly what the answer is, because I don't really want, like he was saying yesterday, that the fire department still goes up in trees and rescues cats. The last thing I want is for your cat to die in a tree because the firefighter can't come and get the cat. And I know
Yeah.
that's an exaggeration, but I didn't know firefighters still go up in trees to get cats.
Yeah.
I don't
Yeah.
like cats, so I'm allergic to them.
And it's important to repeat that, what he said, that governments, taxing districts, they rely on ad valorem and they
Yeah.
rely on the millage rate. So if one goes away,
the other's going
the
up.
other's probably going to
Dude,
go up.
what is your favorite Charlie Daniels Band song?
Devil went down to Georgia.
Yeah, that was every time I ask you that question, it's the exact song that I heard on my drive to the beach. Did you know that
Told you somebody's always watching.
Did you know that she could play Devil Went Down to Georgia on a fiddle?
Oh,
She can do it.
I bet she could probably hit you over the head with a fiddle.
I can't do it.
I wanted to ask you about the chief. We talked about the merger that you guys will, and if you live on the beach, you'll be voting on the merger between Fort Myers Beach and Iona, which was instigated by Adam Botani, your friend.
Mhm.
How will you vote on it?
Well, my vote is going to be my vote. And again, it's just like the property
No,
tax.
I mean yes or no. How will you vote beyond the merger?
Honestly, I haven't decided.
Really?
Yeah.
Even after hearing what he said yesterday, you haven't decided.
Well, I've heard both sides. So, I mean, I think if the auspice was to save money and it's not going to save money, then what's the point, right?
Right.
I think he's 100% correct there. I've said it all along. If the town is going to lose its ambulance service, that's a problem for me. And at the time, until yesterday, I didn't know if that was going to be the case or not. So I think that's important. I think you mentioned if they were grandfathered, as the county looks at it as grandfathered, it takes away. And if it could potentially cost one life, it's really hard to support.
Yeah. So that's the thing. When public safety gets involved in any of these things, it's so hard for people to figure out.
Well, it's almost untouchable. People don't like to say, schools and public safety are two things that, most politicians are afraid to talk about because they feel it's political suicide.
I think the chief said the ambulance service wouldn't go away, but there'd be one less firefighter or
two less. He said it would be two less that could respond to a fire.
Because they'd be paramedics only, not paramedics, firefighters.
Correct.
So
they wouldn't be dual.
If they come and they need help on the fire, those two individuals can't help.
Right. Yeah, I think he said there'd still be ambulances on the island, right?
Yeah, because they have the contract to do that. Yeah.
But it does. If you're a taxpayer, I think you got to ask the question. They were talking about building another something on the other side of the bridge. I mean, that's 3 within 4 miles.
Do you really need that on the other side of the bridge?
I don't know. I don't know their business. And if the chief says they need it, they must need it. So.
And he said that in that review, it looked at where firehouses needed to be.
Yeah, and there was no overlapping.
That they needed to be there.
I did say I watched the fire district meeting. And when the chief laid out that he thinks the millage is going to stay the same this year, which means they'll get more money because the property values went up 8%, according to Matt Caldwell. He said if property reform goes through, they will need to raise the millage in 2027. They will need to raise the millage in 2028. And there was no pushback by any of the 5 commissioners. And I thought, nobody wanted to say, is there anything we can cut? And he made it clear there's nothing that he said yesterday, there's nothing they can cut because they provide a service. You would have to provide less service. It's not like they have parks that they run or things like that. So
I think he laid out a perfect example of, we all feel it every time we go fill up our vehicles. Everything goes up, right?
I thought it would be worse with what's going on in the Middle East. I thought it was $3.74. I saw it today on the way down. I thought,
but those big fire trucks run on diesel, which is over $5 a gallon. It's not.
Did you hear what he said about how long it takes to get a new truck?
Yeah,
like they're $1.2 million a fire truck, and it takes like 3 years.
Which sounds like a lot of money, and it is a lot of money. But when I heard how long they stay in service and then they stay in reserve service.
Yeah.
It was pretty impressive on how long these trucks can stay. And if you've ever been into a fire station,
all the oil changes.
Yeah, well, exactly. He probably could build a truck. The guy's pretty talented.
I'm looking at the comments. Now people are arguing about the property tax in the comments section, which it's a topic people love.
It did what it was intended to do, and that's kick the hornet's nest, right?
Yeah.
And it got discussions happening. But I just think that the bill, the way it is presented now, it could be much better. And I don't know that it needs to go into the Constitution as an amendment.
Well, here's what you probably all know this, but DeSantis is not promoting it because he wanted a total elimination of property taxes. And if Byron is elected governor, he's totally overhauling property taxes. That's what he said. And so if he's elected, that might just be something people say when they're running for election. Over in Cape Coral, we interview people. They're all in favor, even if they're incumbents. They're all in favor of property tax reform. And so, you have to take things with a grain of salt when people are running for election. I think.
And if this passes, the chief did such a good job. I'm just going to keep referring to what he said. This is not like it's just a bill. It's once it goes into the Constitution, can it be changed? Potentially. It's going to take another referendum to unwind it. So it'll be much more difficult for the next governor to be able to do something if this passes. I don't know. I think you just give it a year now that you've talked about it. Bring it back next year with something that can really have an effect on everybody, not just homesteaded property owners. Maybe you give the homestead people a bigger exemption, or they've got a however it can work. But I just don't think this is the right bill at the right time.
I think it's going to be close. I think it
might be.
Will be close.
We'll see. We'll see.
There's so much time
it's
left.
Where it should be right now. It's in the
November.
hand of the voters. Let the voters decide.
Speaking of that, your mosquito district is going to be on the referendum too. They're talking. Adam again, I think was Adam trying to merge the Fort Myers Beach mosquito district. Some probably didn't even know you had your own mosquito district, but you do. You can call, and I think if you call, they'll send out to kill the mosquitoes. And they're trying to merge with. He's trying to merge with Lee County. Do you have an opinion on that?
Well, I do. From what and again, this is just what I've heard through the Lee's County Mosquito Board or district, people that are involved in that, listening, through some of the committees that I'm on and in the county, going and listening to them talk. it sounds like they provide a lot of the services already, the helicopter service, stuff like that. One of the meetings I remember, I can't remember who it was. It's on the Lee County Mosquito Board, said, we haven't charged the town any more than we charged 10 or 15 years ago for the helicopter service. But this year we're going to have to charge you. We can't absorb that cost anymore. So for me, again, it comes down to if it'll save taxpayers money, then it makes sense, right? If we're going to lose services, which it doesn't sound like we would, does it make sense? So you got to ask yourself. I'm not going to tell you how to vote. I'm just going to tell you, look at everything. And if it saves money, then it's probably a good idea.
It's important for people to remember November 18th is an important day because it's a primary. You have to go and vote.
August,
yes.
Sorry, see, I can't even keep things straight. August 18th is the primary. There's a lot of things going on.
Yeah.
And then in November, you've got all of these referendums. You got single-member district. What are you voting on single-member district?
Got softball in
and
November.
Softball starts in November on that
Yeah.
little tiny Little League field, so all the old farts can play and not hit it over the fence. What are you voting on the single-member district?
You know, I was back and forth on that.
Yes, you were.
I was back and forth, but I think I've landed probably on I will be voting for it.
Yeah, I will
at this
too.
point, just because the thing that changed my mind on it was I can't understand how someone can lose in their district and
Yes.
still be elected to a seat. That
Right.
is what changed it for me.
Yeah, and what you're talking
Well, and
about.
I think that's what happened with Cochran.
Well, that's what he's talking about.
Yeah.
Amanda
Yeah.
won her district, but Cape Coral carries so many voters. I think that most people that live in that district campaign in Cape Coral because there's so many more voters in Cape Coral, and
Yeah.
that's a weird kind of way to win an election.
Yeah.
Even though you're when you're elected to the county commission,
You're for
you're
everybody.
representing everybody. So you could call, Brian
you could do
Hammond.
it. You could still do that.
It seems like, well, for sure, Brian Hammond is more on this beach than Bill Ribble is. And Bill Ribble, who's on the school board, represents Fort Myers Beach. Brian is cutting videos from everywhere on this
Yeah.
beach. He loves this beach, and he loves the parks. Of course, their
Yeah,
county.
he always talks about he comes down
Yeah.
and spends
Mhm.
the time down here with his family.
So is there anybody here from the rugby tournament in the back there? Any of those guys from the rugby? Yes, thank you guys. Can one of you guys come down? Can one of you guys come down here? We just want to thank those
We met a
guys.
couple of them last night that were
Yeah.
really great guys.
I don't know if they can hear us, but it would be great for one of them to come down and come on the show.
I don't see anybody over there.
They the women's club.
Hey there.
Come on over. Yeah, that's cool. Well, we just want to thank you guys.
She said we're all hungover. Who would have thought a rugby player was hungover?
Yeah. Well, thank you guys for coming and spending all your time and money here. We really appreciate the tournament. Do you know how many years the tournament has been going on? Yeah, there you go.
He's in charge of it, so he's a better.
Oh, yeah, cool.
Hi,
Thank you.
Oh, what's your name again?
Charlie.
Charlie, how are you?
Nice to
Nice hairdo, man.
Thank you. Hi.
Yes, this is the mayor of Fort Myers Beach and
Hi.
my wife,
Hi.
Kim. So how many people do you think you brought down? Because you guys were totally backing up the traffic on Estero Boulevard yesterday, which is fine. It's totally fine. So
So
have a seat so they can see you on camera.
Oh, hey guys. All right. So
And you don't look hungover at all.
thank you. I'm
Are you hungover?
I'm in a little bit more pain than hungover.
How many drinks you think you had last night?
Uh,
Oh, never mind. Where did you go?
everywhere.
Yeah, you did a
So-
pub crawl after the event, right?
We
Which
did.
is great.
So we had the whale, Mr. Waves, obviously Wahoo Willies, SOB, and then everybody ended at Tiki last night.
How many games of rugby did you play?
Yesterday, I played in 4.
4 games. And
Wow.
they're like how long? 15, 20 minutes each?
14 total minutes.
14 total minutes. And,
And
how
it's
many?
just go, the 14 minutes. You're like
There's
redlining
a quick halftime. So it's 7 minutes, about a minute of, hey, catch your breath, and then do it again.
And you guys started the tournament at what time?
We first kickoff was at 9 a.m.
9 o'clock, and you played until.
The finals went at about 3:30.
And
We
how-
were- we
right
had-
at the coolest time of the day.
Oh yeah,
Did you get any rain at least to cool you off yesterday?
no.
And how
Oh.
many players did you have in the tournament approximately? How many? Because these are all people that don't come to Fort Myers Beach on a regular basis.
Correct. So yesterday we had 32 teams,
Of how many
Wow.
players are on a team?
about 10.
10 players on each team.
A couple
men and women.
Yep.
Yeah.
So we had a couple of teams that had other people just join on their team, since it's our tournament is considered a social tournament.
Uh-huh.
So you don't have to stay on one team. So this is like the friends are like, hey, come play.
You know what's
Wow.
I've watched you guys play for years now, and the thing that's cool is you get in this scrum thing, and then you're beating the shit out of each other, like tackling, and then you're all hugging each other and having beers
Well,
with each other. It's
so
like,
that guy who just walked away,
yeah,
he ran full speed at one of his friends, one of my friends.
yeah,
And then like literally 2 minutes later, he went full speed at the other guy.
yeah.
So it was
I have no idea what that means. That's part of the game, running
It's
full speed at
just
somebody.
running at somebody.
I
yeah.
still like
So,
like
can I-
the yeah. Go ahead.
Did you guys and did everybody stay down here? Where did you stay? All
So,
over the place?
a lot of individuals stayed at Diamond Head since they're our
Okay.
host hotel. Quite a few people stayed at Margaritaville. We know that some people's favorite was Lani Kai, or they stayed at Matanzas on the Bay.
Sweet. You
Nice.
spread
So
it out.
on-
You spread it
and
out.
Yeah.
Are you where did they come from? What's the farthest somebody traveled that you know of?
We had a team registered from Tennessee that came this year.
Cut it out.
Nice.
That's crazy.
Nice.
And you guys are here spending money again on breakfast,
Yep.
and we really appreciate what you've done for the economy here
Thank
with
you.
this weekend. It's been great to see you guys out there, and not only that, the women's club was able to park and
Mm-hmm.
raise a decent amount of money in the EIBC parking lot, so everybody won out there.
Cool.
So thank you very much.
Yeah, no, thank you guys.
Thank you so much.
Big hand for the rugby, the beer feet.
Barefoot Beach
7-on-7 rugby tournaments held every year here on Fort Myers Beach. And the thing that they could have got pissed off about was they started at Wyndham. Okay, so the storm comes through. Now where are we going to go? So they wind up at Crescent Park. And, of course, Crescent Park, you can't play at
Right.
Crescent Park anymore because there's pavers in there. And that they found, I hopefully
we
found a
did have
long-term
one
home.
stop in between. So we went from the Wyndham
Yeah.
to the Junkanoo
Oh, I didn't
to
even remember
Crescent
that.
Park and then here.
Wow.
Spreading out the love all
So-
over the island.
We're just really happy that we were able to come
Cool.
back this year.
Well, thanks a lot for coming.
you so
Thank you
much.
very
Thank
much.
you so
Thank you.
much.
Yes. Very nice. We love when these guys come down there. They're so nice.
I mean, and
They're
these,
so
That's mine.
friendly.
these guys need to
That's
get in
what you
better
want.
shape too.
Yeah, I
I
know.
mean, my God.
I would have to, with my skinny chicken legs, I'd have to play in
Yeah.
on the girls' team.
You know,
No, they would crush you
That's what
like
I
an
mean.
ant.
Well, that's true.
we ran into a couple of those guys last night, and one of our friends, she was with us, and a guy walks in, and he was a cross between Morgan Wallen and Joe Dirt, and he had this cowboy hat on, and he had the red and black checkered shirt with the sleeves cut off,
Yeah.
and he's a good looking dude, big guy, right? And her face was just like a Rottweiler when you're getting their food ready, and the drool is coming out of her mouth, and she's looking at him like a ham sandwich.
Who's this?
A friend of ours.
yours? Okay.
She's drooling over this guy. So of course I bring him over and start talking to him. She's like, no, don't do it. So I bring him over. Super nice guy. I can't remember what his name was. And then another younger guy, Mitchell. Yeah. Mitchell was his name. And then his friend John was there, who's going to be a lawyer. And he actually just texted me. I told him I want to try to help make
You
it
need
even
a
bigger
lawyer.
next year. Yeah. Well, yeah, no, I don't need a lawyer, but help try to make the event even bigger next year. But they remind me, like, I'm a big hockey fan, and they remind me of hockey players. They beat the snot out of each
oh,
other.
yeah.
And then afterwards they're sitting in a bar and they're having,
So,
and you don't want to mess with one because then
No.
you mess with them all.
Oh man.
so the question I have for what was his name? I already forgot because I'm old and I'm on gabapentin and I can't remember. Charlie. So Charlie is so hungover, he can't even move. His body hurts from being beat up. He's so hungover. When you wake up and you're that hungover, do you look in the mirror and say, before I go out, I really got to work on my hair because I don't want anyone to see me without my spiked hair like that? And it's perfect. And his hair is perfect. So,
Yeah, I know.
Oh.
It's great to see him come down and
yeah.
always
Yeah.
have a good day. And we saw him coming through with the pub crawl, and they had some really interesting costumes.
Did they?
Yeah.
That's awesome. What a great
Oh.
event.
So,
And needed at this time of year too.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, it's been, this is usually the time of year where it starts kind of dwindling down a little bit. August, September, and then October it starts coming back, picking
So-
up.
just
so
can't
Dan-
imagine playing in that heat.
Yeah, right.
It was pretty nice yesterday. There was a nice breeze. Now,
It
I don't
was.
know if it was just at La Di Da and not on the sand, but there was a nice breeze yesterday at La Di Da. So let me ask you this before we transition to another topic, Dan. Are the boat races coming back or not?
I've heard that it's over 50% chance. Yes. So
Okay. So last time I talked to the folks that are the new owners of the brand, they're working on it for October, and they told me they were applying for permits or they have permits. Do you know if permits are have been applied for?
in talking with Will this week, it sounds like they're waiting for sign-offs. Again, I don't know all the details, but it sounds like they're just waiting for LCSO
Oh.
and fire
It's a big deal.
to sign off on it, because obviously anything we do would be contingent upon their approval. So
All right. So,
But I've heard it's better than a 50% chance that it's happening
that'd be
And
another
this year.
this year. Yeah.
That'd
Wow.
be another huge
In
event.
September, I believe, not
Yeah.
October.
What do you know, if anything, on the Cars on Fifth thing?
Haven't heard anything. We had a good meeting with Chief Worth, speaking of Chief Worth, and Commander Layler a couple weeks ago. Don, obviously, from What's Up FMB, the organizers, Tom and Tom, and then obviously our staff to come down and see if we can make it work logistically. Speaking of the boat races, we had a conversation like, what's the traffic plan? How can we make it work? And to me, it made sense. Remember when we had the boat races that one year, how we had, Old San Carlos closed off and we were able to do it for one day for and Commander agrees. So they came down and Don and Karen, I believe, walked them around the area, showed them. And now it's just a matter of them making a decision. They did ask some question. I know Dawn and her team and our staff are working to fill out this RFP. They have some questions they want answered. So nothing that I've heard is definitive. They seemed very interested, if not Cars on Fifth, to have some sort of event like that here on the beach. They like the idea. But obviously I think we can host it. Hopefully they see that. I think people would enjoy it. It's a one-day event. There was some interesting stuff I think that came out. People are like, there's no way they can do it. Well, these guys, they have it down to a science.
Right.
I mean, they have it down to, they can get every car down in Naples. They were able to get every car out of there in 20 minutes. So that's pretty fast. So they're in by 9.
They're fast cars.
Oh, yeah, exactly. Yeah. A lot of Ferraris, a lot of high dollar cars that you never get a chance to see.
Right. Which be another
So
great event
I'm
for
hoping
the
something
town
comes of
here.
it, but
yeah.
we'll see.
If you went to the gym today, how much do you think you could bench press?
I don't know.
What would you think your maximum bench press for one could be?
I don't know.
You want to try it? Well, I'll take you to the gym.
I don't know. I honestly, I don't know.
What do you think yours would be?
I never, when I
45?
did work
Not
out all
good.
the time, I never really went for the most. It was more about how many reps could I do.
Yeah.
You know?
What was the most reps you've ever done?
I could do 250 10 times pretty easily.
That's pretty good. That's
Yeah.
pretty strong for
Yeah,
for
so
anybody.
I never really tried to see what the maximum.
Yeah.
My legs were obviously much stronger than my upper
Mine
body.
too.
But what's funny is when I think it was in 9th grade, the first time I ever picked up a weight, I couldn't bench press 125. By the end of that year, I could bench 275.
Yeah. Well, it takes. a
Yeah,
little
that's
practice.
exactly my trajectory
Yeah.
was just like that.
How many miles did you run today, by the way?
I did a 10K today.
Wow. She's training for some kind of race. In February. Where is this race going to be held, dear?
I don't know.
She doesn't
I don't
want to
wanna
tell
say
anybody. It's a
anything because I
long.
don't know that I'm
See
gonna
the
be
runner.
able
You
to
could
do
tell the
it.
runners they turned over as soon as we said race. The runner's over there. She's eating bacon now, but she's a runner. You're a runner, aren't you?
Yeah, got to reach
She
out.
heard us talking about running.
We saw this morning on the way down here a family of 3, a husband, wife, and their kid. They were all running side by side down the road. It was
Yeah.
kind of cool.
So
I'm not a runner.
If you were to run a mile today,
Yeah.
what do you think the time would be?
23 hours and 14 minutes.
I want to ask you about London Bay, but first I do want to tell everybody we have very important sponsors. Without our sponsors, Kim's hair would look like crap. Tri-Town Construction is one of our sponsors.
We need more sponsors.
They are locally owned and trusted in Southwest Florida. See what I'm doing here, Marie? Celebrating 20 years, specializing in custom homes and remodeling, a full-service contractor from design and planning to construction and project completion. Give Tri-Town Construction a call, 239-895-2058. That's 239-895-2058. So last week, the big story on Fort Myers Beach was you had 2 meetings that were specially planned for London Bay because it's a long presentation in August,
Mhm.
and they were canceled. At least the first one was canceled. I don't know if both were.
Well, I don't know that they've officially been canceled, but we did receive a letter requesting from the applicant that they don't want to have the meeting, but I don't know that they've been officially
All right.
canceled.
So the reason being that he apparently London Bay has pulled their big project, and they're going to go live local
Mhm.
and build 104 affordable housing apartments, I guess, and then build something else: hotel, condos,
Yeah, I don't remember
restaurant.
I don't remember the numbers. But under the live local, it's got to be 65% residential. The rest can be retail, could be can be
And
other
it's
things.
got to be 40%.
40% has to be for workforce
affordable
housing.
housing.
Yes.
Yeah.
Workforce.
Is it
40%.
workforce or I mean
Workforce.
workforce or affordable? I don't know. What's the
Workforce. There's a difference in definition. Workforce is based on the AMI. I think it's 120% AMI.
I think it's yes.
So do you
yes.
think-
And they have to? It's like 80% because it's different than low income.
Yes,
So
it
do you,
is.
do you think the plan is? Do you think that they're going to build that?
Well, I don't know. I'm sad that we didn't, as a council, at least get an opportunity to have a discussion about the project. I think everybody has said the same thing, that they know London Bay is a good operator. They know they do what they say they're going to do. They own the property, so they're going to build something eventually, right? We want to see something built there. But they made a choice to go a different direction, and that's certainly their right.
Do you think they made a choice because they probably read the tea leaves at the council
You know,
meeting?
I don't
why else
know.
would you pull it?
I don't know. I can only go by the letter that everybody has
Yeah.
seen now at this point, and London Bay felt that they weren't treated fairly at the LPA hearing, and they took it personally. It sounds like, and they don't want to go through that again, or think they're going to go through that again. So I don't know.
Well,
only Mark can answer that question.
Yeah, and in that letter, I think they talked about how they did their presentation and they were given direction, and then they came back and it still wasn't good enough.
Do you think that's accurate? That they were given direction that would have indicated it might be approved?
I mean,
You
I don't
watched the meeting.
Yeah, I
If
did, but
they
I don't
made
want to speak
those-
for the LPA members. I can't say if they thought that they would approve it based on whatever. I think one person made the recommendation of a height, but I don't know. I don't want to speak for the LPA members. I mean, I don't whether it would have gotten approved or not. I don't. That's a question for them.
Right, and it's unfortunate if the one LPA member gave them the direction that thought they could get approved, but that doesn't mean that one of the people that's here today, it doesn't mean that the others are going to vote yes for it. And
Yeah.
and on the other side of that, it wouldn't. I don't mean to disparage the LPA, but sometimes the council votes the opposite way of the LPA.
Sure.
So it's just a recommendation. It's not like the LPA shot them down. It's really not that at all. The LPA makes a recommendation. You guys, sometimes you take it, sometimes you don't.
Well, the LPA, they do a really good job of vetting out stuff to get it to a point to where it comes to council, right? And then they make a recommendation, yes or no. And then the applicant has a choice to continue on to the council or not, whether it's a yes or no. So they do a great job. I mean, if you follow along, a lot of the stuff that the LPA puts in historically, since I've been involved, it's usually, I was on the LPA. You try to be the ones that get down to the nuts and bolts of how does it work within the land development code. Then the staff takes it back. They take those recommendations or conditions, if there are any, and they bring it to town council. And town council has the ability to watch that meeting, and we could take what they have and maybe something sparks in your brain that's a good thought. What if we did this? And sometimes things change back. Sometimes things get more strict. Sometimes they get more lenient. It just depends. So it's part of the process and it works. But again, they've decided to go a different route, it sounds like, at this point. So to talk about it too much would be, I think the project itself would be too much. You want to talk about Live Local. I'm certainly willing
Yes,
to
I
talk
definitely
about
want
that.
to talk about that because you and I have kind of been going back with research on the Live Local, and you sent me some stuff that I had no idea that there's been 200 projects statewide that have, I wouldn't say approved, but they've kind of been
Proposed,
started,
sure.
proposed, and like 20 of them have actually broken ground. So, and there have been some lawsuits. You want to
there's-
talk about that?
Yeah, there's current litigation against statewide, but there's a big one in Miami. There was one that happened in Hollywood over the Margaritaville Height over there, where the municipality actually won that lawsuit. So it's being litigated, and it comes down to a lot of interpretation of what it means. And again, this is some of the things I think that we see are unintended consequences that come out of it, and then they get changed year after year. Since Live Local Act came in, every year there's been a revision to it. The most recent one was this year. There were changes made to it again. So I wanted to go back through and read, now that it's after July 1st and it's become law, I want to read through and see what it is. One of the things that they did, which is very glaring but nobody seems to talk about, is they changed what the definition of municipality and county is. It's now considered a person, which what that triggers is, as you remember, not that long ago, anyone that brings litigation against a town for a land decision can be liable to pay back the attorney's fees. So by changing county and municipality to person, that opens up municipalities to potentially be liable if a lawsuit doesn't go their way, and which is going to make it harder for a municipality to challenge a Live Local Act, should they have to challenge it or have to defend it.
And they also changed about the setbacks. Can you explain to
Well, yeah,
people?
they basically made it so that you couldn't change your setbacks. The gist of the entire Live Local Act, at least in the way I read it, and I'm not a planner and I'm not an attorney, but the way that I read it is anything that the town had in place as of July 1st, 2023. So you can't change your setback to make it smaller to try to hinder the development through live local. That's basically what the setbacks meant. But you still can enforce the setbacks that were in place as of July 1st, 2023. It talks a lot about FAR. It says that through live local, a developer can go to 150% of the maximum FAR on the island or in a municipality. So in this case, ours is 2.5. A developer could go to a 3.75 by right under the live local, in my interpretation, the way I read it. Density is the same way. Height, on the other hand, it doesn't say that, in my opinion. In my opinion, height, it says within 1 mile, but it doesn't say anything about any building. It says buildings that were approved through the town's current codes as of July 1st, 2023. One of the other things they did change this year is they retroacted the date back to like 2024 or 2023 of when these apply to a development of live local. But what I read the height in there as is anything within a mile that has gone through the approval process of the town or 3 stories, whichever is greater. And it also carves out very specifically, in at least again the way that I read it, that you can't use projects that had to receive a variance, a bonus, or something else from the municipality to be able to get that height. And that's where the one in Hollywood won on, because this developer was trying to get the height of what Margaritaville over there had. They tried to go through the Live Local Act using that, and the judge came back and said, no, it clearly says that it's anything that is built without extra variances or bonuses to achieve that. To me, that takes every project on this island out, every project on this island that has been approved since July 1st of 2023. That has gotten more.
So you're talking about before incorporation. So the big buildings that went in
yeah,
before
and again,
incorporation, you feel like they would not be able to use those.
In my interpretation of it. I'm not a planner. That's what I read. I'm very black and white. And to me, in black and white, it does not say you can use any building within a municipality or county. It says one that has been approved under the town's current codes and regulations, or 3 stories, whichever is higher.
And you're specifically also talking about Seagate, because they did ask for
Well, it wouldn't matter anyway. Seagate's not within a mile of that property.
Oh, okay. It's further than a mile. Gotcha. So the only
but they did have to receive
special
exceptions or variances to be able to achieve that.
So your hook on this is that statement about the municipalities, not that it has to be.
I didn't see anywhere, and I'll read it again. I mean, I read it probably 5 times.
I mean,
now.
what I have doesn't even, it just
it
says
doesn't.
commercial.
Well, so that you can pull up House Bill 1389 is what it is, and then you can actually go into the state statute, because it references state statutes within that House Bill 1389, and you can go and look through the state statutes where it gets into the FAR and it gets into the density. A lot of it is repetitive, what you read in that document of the House Bill 1389, but a lot of it's repetitive in there, but it does draw down on FAR and it does draw down on density. But the language for height is specifically what you read in the document of House Bill 1389, which does not say any building within a mile. And again, I'm not a lawyer, and I'm sure that's probably what the litigation is in Miami and all these other ones are being litigated over. But I don't think it automatically gives by right. And this my interpretation. I don't know, but
if you were correct in your interpretation, then what would they be able to build?
Well, it would be 3 stories above base flood elevation, or whatever is by right, and our code says that already. So my guess would be, again, this is probably a question for an attorney and planners, but
yeah,
obviously their planners must feel that they're able to move it forward, and their attorneys.
I'm guessing that they
see it maybe different than I see it, and that's completely fine. That's why I'm not a planner or a lawyer.
Let me squeeze in here. We do have our USA 250 30 shirts if anybody would like them. And for all the muscle heads down there playing rugby, all of our tank tops are only $10. They're all on sale for $10. I know you guys like to wear tank tops in December and January.
Because they look great in them.
All of our tank tops are $10. So I wanted to make sure we threw that in there. And I also want to squeeze in here that our show this morning is also sponsored by the Islands Pancake House, where we often run into Debbie and Jamie Hotka, who love the Islands Pancake House. They have all indoor dining with air conditioning, free parking. They have a full bar.
My daughter loves those pancakes.
I love watching Jamie Hotka eat pancakes and drink whiskey at the same time, and you can do that at the Islands Pancake House. They also, I said it when he was at the bathroom. They have a sister location on Big Pine Key, and that's at mile marker 30. Stop by the Islands Pancake House, which is in the Seagrape Plaza on the, I would call it the south end of,
In the heart.
I would call it on the south end of this north end strip.
Behind the old bank.
Behind the old bank that may someday be a furniture store, but who
Might-
knows?
might,
Oh, and
yeah.
yes, we will get to that. So anything else on the, what the hell were we just talking about? Totally lost my train of thought.
Oh, you were talking
Today.
about Live Local. I think we covered
Yeah.
that.
Yeah, there's going to be a lot more. We're going to try and focus our Thursday show on Live Local. We're also going to have Cindy Banyai on. If you've never, ever watched Cindy Banyai, she is batshit crazy. The lady will run for any public office that she can. And she,
Nothing says, hey, come on the show like you're batshit crazy.
and she always loses.
She doesn't care.
She's a repetitive loser. She will never get elected to any office, but she's a great guest. She's almost as good a guest as Todd Truax. You know, the challenge that Democrats have in Florida is, you know, it's a Republican state. That's the challenge you have.
Well, just go check out our website. It's very interesting.
Yes.
Yes.
She got up at the Hobnob, the
Be
Chamber
careful,
of
there are
Commerce.
kids here.
I'm not
I
going to
heard
say
you.
it. The
Okay.
Chamber of Commerce in Cape Coral held a Hobnob, and you have
Yeah.
30 seconds to get up and talk about your platform. Totally laced with expletives. Total nothing but curse words.
Yes,
One
it was.
specific.
It was a great
not
clip.
bad one,
Yeah.
but
Which, if you go to our website, you'll see which word
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
was.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
So
And she's not hiding. She's not hiding it.
yeah.
No, she does not shrink away from any
No.
of that.
Nope. She's high energy.
So tomorrow you have a very action-packed meeting.
We do.
You've
A
got
lot, yeah.
things that I can't ask you about because you're going to vote on them. But just so you guys know out there, Silver Sands is coming up, and a little teaser: Silver Sands is not going to be called Silver Sands when and if it gets approved. I know what the name is going to be, but I can't share that. A little
Look at you keeping a
keeping
secret.
a secret.
Wow.
I know what it's going to be
Mark
called.
this day down in
Yes.
history.
Write it down.
Do you know what it's going to be called?
The day's not over yet. No, I do not.
All right. And also, the Wyndham is up for a vote tomorrow. So those are two pretty big projects on the island. That could
Yeah,
get
there's a
approved.
lot of good stuff on the agenda tomorrow. A lot
And
of-
so those two, are they? You can answer this. Are they required 2 public hearings or one?
yes, yes.
All right. So they'll
They're both public hearings.
so there'll be 2 public hearings in August for those 2 projects, right? Or is there time in between?
Yes, I believe that there would be there. I think they're both on the second August one.
All right.
I
So
think.
they could
if
start.
if they make it past the first
If
one.
We
they
won't
make-
hold you to it.
No.
Yeah.
I know.
And if hopefully if they get approved, then they'll take whatever time it takes to start the DO process, and it could probably be, I don't know, what are those projects like that usually take 6 months to 9 months to get through
Well,
your
it depends on the size of the project, right? I mean, it depends on how much design work they have to put
yeah, the
into it.
Wyndham doesn't
There's
seem
probably
like huge.
more design work involved in Silver Sands
Right.
than there is at the Wyndham. So
Right. The last thing I knew I had one more question about the Live Local. That process for that stays with staff. That doesn't have to go through
Yes.
town council
Correct.
or LPA.
yes, they
Whatever.
they submit a development order. The staff reviews it to see if it's consistent with the land development code and the comp plan, and obviously Live Local. And then they make a recommendation of approval or denial based on that. That does not go to the LPA. It does not go to council
All right. So the other thing, what?
Go ahead.
The other
unless they were going to request something outside of what is allowed.
the other thing I wanted to talk about is, the property taxes, the millage rate is proposed for what
One-
amounts to a 30% tax increase.
1.34 is what the town manager is got out for the ceiling.
Right. And the process is tomorrow you guys will vote on what the ceiling will be. It can come down, but it can't go higher than that.
Correct.
Were you surprised at all to see that high of an increase?
No, I wasn't. And when you talk about the budget shortfall, the $1.5 million shortfall, the reason that's there is because of what they're asking for to fund. The 4 big things are obviously reserve funds, emergency reserve funds, replenishing that, staffing the pool. Everybody wants the pool back. That takes people. Staff is expecting that to open up within the next year, so that would fall within this year's budget to be able to put in. What were the other ones? There was 2 other ones. Canal dredging. We've had a lot of people want to put something in place for canal dredging. So, and then the last one is to match state funding grants. So if we ask, Times Square is a perfect example. When we get appropriations from the state, usually they're matching grants. If they give us 400, we got to put 400 in. That money has to come from somewhere. So about 80% of the increase of that 1.5 million is coming from those 4 specific projects. So if you don't want those projects,
Right.
or you don't think that they're
Right.
important, then obviously that number can come way down. but that's what we'll discuss tomorrow, and we'll set the ceiling, whatever the ceiling is. If you've been following along, we have the same conversation every year, right? The initial number looks so big, and then as staff has time to finalize their budget, because the charter requires the manager to get us a tentative budget by July 15th, and we have to get the ceiling, which is the cap, which we'll be talking about tomorrow, by August 5th to the state to say that this is what our not to exceed amount is. And then in September, through the 2 budget workshops, it'll work its way down to whatever, or it might stay the same. We don't know, but it'll work through.
They're not budget workshops. They're public hearings. But
Public hearings,
I know,
right.
Potato.
No, not
Which,
really.
by the way, the town manager did send us an email this week, early on in the week, that next year he's going to implement, if you want to call it a workshop, of being able to, so the council will be there, staff will be there, they'll make their recommendations, and we'll be able to have something open, similar to an MMP, where people can come and have those discussions.
Yeah, and I just
No, I
want to
just
make sure.
wanna
Let me,
ask-
but
no,
I need
just-
to address that because I
Oh, I'm
instigated
gonna forget
that.
my
I
question.
don't mean it that way. I asked you a month ago if you were having budget workshops, and you said you don't think so. You had the public hearings, so you guys were already in the process. I didn't instigate anything.
Right.
I don't want to make it sound like I caused anything. I didn't. I asked about
Now here come
no.
the comments.
No, that's
no,
fine.
because
fine.
there weren't any budget workshops, but Will is changing the process.
Yeah.
That's the history of Fort Myers Beach. There weren't budget workshops. Will is changing that. He was already in the process of changing that. But so that I just want to make that clear. I did ask you about it a month ago, and you
Right.
said you only had public hearings, but that was in the process to be changed.
Okay.
Having budget workshops is a great exercise. It's
Sure.
a very transparent exercise. Now nobody might show up. I mean, it might be nobody shows up, but
Maybe.
but that's fine. That's
I
fine.
doubt
at
it,
least
but-
it's,
But at least
it's
you've
out there.
had it.
At least it's out there. So
I want to ask about when you're talking about the pool and hiring staff for the pool. Well, the pool will bring in revenue, though, right?
It
and
will.
that could
It will.
offset
I mean,
the cost of the
Correct.
staff.
correct.
And
But you got to
do you need the
start
staff
somewhere.
first?
will not offset the staff. It won't even Steven it.
I don't know that. We don't know. I mean, this is obviously going to be a much different pool than what we had before. The goal has always been, at least since I've been involved, is to try to get Bay Oaks revenue neutral, at least, right? Try to get it back to
Well,
where it was.
I'm just talking specifically. I don't know that you can, but just for the pool.
I don't know that. Well, you could ask Ed. Ed's been involved with Parks and Rec more than I have. Do they ever end up being revenue neutral? Hardly ever.
Not
If
the
at all.
pool?
Yeah.
I mean, that's a worthy goal, but Bay Oaks is never going to be revenue neutral.
No,
never.
no, it probably won't. But
I feel like
it'll
the
be
pool
interesting.
Could
to
be.
this pool is going to. I mean, everybody's seen the pool now. I think.
Yeah, if you see
you know,
that pool now,
I think it can draw in
I'm
some people.
I'm never going to go to Schoonovers anymore. I'm totally coming to that pool.
I don't know.
Yeah.
You know how.
And you
I
know
am.
what? You can charge me something.
And there's
for
still
it.
some tweaks that have to happen, but I think staff is anticipating that we can have that pool open in this next fiscal year. And I haven't heard anybody say they don't want the pool, and it takes people to staff that. So that's part of where this budget shortfall comes from, of the 1.5 million that you've got out there.
I'm not going to argue with you, but people don't go to the firehouse and say, I don't want fire protection. So it's, I hear what you're saying.
Yeah.
Anyway, so what I saw in the budget was, now part of the transparency thing that maybe nobody cares about, maybe none of the residents care about, but that I was looking for was that you had a resolution to increase the millage 30%, but there was no detail. There was just a resolution. And I thought you could have included the tentative budget that Will was passing around in the agenda, and it wasn't in there. So that,
That makes a good point. I mean, it's not that it's being hidden; it's available.
but you have
anybody that
to. It
asks
took
for
a while to find it, which was it's not being hidden. Please, I don't think Will is doing anything nefarious ever. I would never assume
And the
that.
cape too. The cape is not.
I'm just
the
saying,
stuff is there, but it is.
I
If
have
it's
to
hard
ask-
to find, then
You
it's
have
hard
to ask three
find.
people to find what are the I want to dig into the details about. Now
Sure.
maybe nobody else does. Like I saw that you're hiring a fitness director for Bay Oaks, and I'm like, a fitness director for Bay Oaks? Why?
Well, there's been a lot of jobs over the last 3 years that have been in the budget that haven't gone filled, because either you can't find someone to do it, or things change and you gotta pull it away. You can't. That money's not there to spend on that. So that changes all the time, and that's why they call it tentative budget, right?
Were you surprised by 11 or 12 additional hires?
For the pool, yeah.
No,
I mean,
no,
the majority of those
overall,
would be for the pool.
overall in the budget.
Yeah, but I think 10 of those, or 9 or 10 of those, were specifically for the pool.
Oh, I
you
see.
need lifeguards, you need that kind of stuff there. So
You do?
Well, you can't just open a pool without a lifeguard.
I haven't
Well,
been
I
to.
mean,
I've
you-
never in
I don't
my
know,
life.
ask Ed.
Actually,
Ed's a pool
you
expert.
can. I mean, we have our pool doesn't have a
I've never
lifeguard
been to a
in
community
Gateway.
pool, so I don't
And
know.
again, this is what the staff is recommending. It doesn't mean that's what's going to get approved.
True. Yeah.
Right.
It may be that those 4 things stay in and staff finds a way to not have to raise the millage rate or keep it the same.
And then maybe
still
there's no
keep those
tax
4
increase.
things. Maybe you never know, right?
But
You
the
won't
one-
know until we
I
have those discussions.
I teased out yesterday on Facebook, and she yelled at me last night that your PIO called me. And listen, I have great relationships with Abigail, with the previous 5 PIOs you've had on the island.
Does
the
anyone
county.
have a tissue? 'Cause
No,
we're
the
gonna need
county.
one.
And I want to explain the county's PIO. We had a great dinner with the chamber. We met the city's PIO, Nicole,
Mhm.
and the one she was trying to talk to me about the budget and why we're at the budget process here. I also think that if you guys met in July, you might have already set the tentative ceiling, but you don't meet in July,
right.
Because the appraiser comes out on July 1st,
Mhm.
right? Although he comes out with before that, he
Yeah.
comes out with a kind of a rough thing.
A rough one, yeah, in June.
And then you guys don't meet until July. So there's a gap there. And I'm not blaming anybody for anything, but the process goes so fast like that.
July
that-
went fast.
Yes. And then
Yeah.
July 15th, your charter says you have to have a tentative budget.
Yeah.
But anyway, the only thing that rubbed me the wrong way was she said to me, your media, you need to speculate on a 30% tax increase. And I was like, Abby, I'm not really speculating on a 30% tax increase. You put it in a resolution. The town put it in a resolution. It's not me speculating on that. I'm just reporting on what the resolution was in the agenda. That's all. I mean, everything else was
Yeah.
fine.
Yeah, you do leave out key words like proposed and ceiling, but you made.
I didn't leave that out.
Yeah, you did. If you go back and read, and maybe that's what she was referring to. I don't know, but
Well, you did propose, the town is proposing a 30% tax increase.
You're
That
right.
is an accurate statement.
I don't disagree. But did you use the word proposed,
I did. It's proposing a 30.
or
I
did
didn't
you say the
that-
town is looking to raise your taxes 30%? I don't remember which way you
Oh,
worded
it's
it,
easy
but
enough to look
we'll
up.
find it out. But yeah, I mean, again,
Ooh, burn
think-
on you.
I
if
think
you
we
didn't
go
use the
through. I
word
think we go through this every
proposed.
single year,
Look
and I
at
think
you.
people now understand that. Yes, it is a proposed
Ah.
30% increase, a proposed ceiling. Not it's going to happen, but and we have these conversations every single year. And the keyboard warriors are going to come out and attack and say, "Yeah, but it's why do you have to set it at that?" And I'll say the same thing I say every year. We're in the height of a season that none of us like, right? We're coming into the height of a season where our lives can change in a minute, and we have to set a budget. Still having things can change, right? Things can change over the next couple
as well.
months, and
No.
it
when
doesn't it doesn't do any harm to set a ceiling. You can always go down, but you can't go back up. If you were to set it at a rollback rate, and then God forbid something happened, now you're stuck at that. There's nothing you can do then through the budget process.
If we,
So I don't see any harm in setting a ceiling.
I see harm in setting a 30% ceiling because to
Sure.
me, again, I have nothing but great things to say about Will. I love Will. I'm glad he's not here to look at me and shoot lasers at me. But the point is, if I was in Gateway and they proposed a 30% tax increase, I would lose my shit because that's crazy to start that. Because you know what my thinking is?
Dear, but do you know how much they're charging us to build
Yes.
that building? Okay.
Well, but I think if you wanted to report the
Ridiculous.
facts, that's fine. The headline can say one thing, but you have to add in the context of what I've explained to you today of what that budget shortfall is and why you're asking for that. So then if you want to talk about transparency, that would be transparent to your followers that would say, these are the 4 things that the town manager is asking for, and that's why this millage rate is being asked for at this. That then transparently allows your viewers to say, okay, I don't want that, and I'm going to be very vocal, or I do want that, and okay, now it makes sense.
Fair enough, but
That would be fair.
it would be fair if you
That
could
would be
find,
transparent.
it would be if you could find it, but you couldn't find it anywhere. So that was the big
Is it in the
issue I had.
resolution?
I can't say yes or no. There were some details in the resolution.
There you go.
But the proposed budget was not in the resolution. It could have been. It could have been in the agenda. Your agendas are 2,000 pages long.
They're allowed.
Everything,
They're allowed.
everything
They're allowed.
except for that information was in the agenda, and I just thought that.
So a
could have
little,
been in
a
the
little. So for anybody, yourself included, that wants to try to get, instead of trying to go through 1,100 pages, you go to the town's website and it says download an agenda packet.
Yes.
That's exactly what we see, right?
Yes.
And on the left-hand side, you see those things. If you open that up, you can go click on the specific. It'll take you specifically to the start of a public hearing or an administrative agenda item.
Didn't know
You
that.
don't have to search it. So on the left-hand side, when you open it up, it'll
That's
say
just
public
like how the
hearings.
school
And if you
board
click
does.
on,
It is.
like
Yeah.
Silver Sands, say, if you click on that, it'll take you right to the blue sheet and then everything below that.
That's
Right.
great to know.
So that'll save you a ton of time.
I had to go. I thought I had to go all the way
That's
down.
because you're
scroll.
not smart.
No, I don't know why I didn't know that. If
Yeah.
I didn't know that, and I look at the friggin' agendas the day they come
It'll
out,
save you a ton of time.
Yeah, it would. Yeah, well, because now what I do is I scroll through the entire
So
agenda
you see the blue sheet.
and I write notes on a sticky note about what page that actually starts on, because I have
Yeah.
every other municipality. You almost use the same software if you're
Probably.
doing that.
Or-
If you're,
but-
I didn't know
I-
that was available.
It's Civic Plus, I think it's called. But through the town's website, if you click on it and you pull up the agenda packet, they've got a PDF, or the entire one. You'll see exactly what we see, and then you on the right hand side, it lists like on the first sheet of our
I didn't know
agenda.
that.
It goes through the invocation, it goes to public comment, it goes all, and then public hearings, then
So Dan,
consent agenda, all that stuff is there, and you can just click on it, and the public
like
hearings
I'm
and the
watching the
administrative
game.
agenda will take you directly to it. If you click on public comment, it's just going to take you to the top of the page.
So, by the way, we think we're having Madison Cawthorn on the show. She's not coming next Sunday because she's getting ready for work, her
Yep.
real job. So I don't know if you know, Madison Cawthorn is running for Congress in the 19th district. Byron Donald's a seat.
Along with a
Yeah,
bunch
ton of
of
people.
other people. Actually, I just saw. Well, it
Ola?
was. No, I just saw.
Oberweis?
I just saw Oberweis's.
Omaha.
Yeah, I just saw Oberweis's.
His commercial.
His
there?
commercial, and Abby was on there.
Yeah. Wow.
I was like, oh my God. And then I saw her on the news talking about the school. So she's getting a lot
wow.
of play.
Yeah. Good for her.
And
yeah.
then you brought her up today.
Yes.
Who are you voting for?
For what?
19th
For
district.
19th district.
Who are your top
Oh.
three that you've kind of give people kind of a hint of? Not
Are
a
you
hint that-
allowed to say?
Not a hint
I
that
am,
you're
but-
voting for, but I mean, who stands out the most to you in that race?
Because there's a lot of them.
I don't honestly, I don't think there's one that is like, oh my God, that's the person I want. There's been a lot of, I'm like most people, when my TV is taken over or my radio is taken over by nothing but countless ads, they all kind of sound the same. Right. And then the mailers come in the mail. To me, I like to hear and see what they have to say face to face. I don't know, other than Jim, I don't know anybody that's come to the island to speak to us. I mean, there's a lot of things that go on. We're just a small cosmic thing of District 19. So I totally get it. So
Well, you'll have Madison that'll
if
come.
Madison's coming, great. I would encourage anyone that's running for that district to come here and have a conversation with have an open house, have a town hall, have something so people can ask the questions of you and you can answer.
Speaking of mailers,
Oh,
did you see
Amanda Cochran
Amanda
got brutalized?
Cochran? Yeah.
She's running for county commissioner. You didn't see
You
that
didn't
mail?
get
I
that
don't know if I
okay.
saw that one. We get so many at the house.
I mean, I don't know. You at least if you go by the comments online, people are getting tired of
I think it's
the
in between.
negative
It's in between
mailers.
what you said and in between what I said, right? It said they
Oh,
will
God.
recommend the 30% increase.
Yes.
So that's accurate, right?
Essentially.
All
Yeah.
right, thank you. I don't want to be inaccurate, but when I see tax increase, I hate
Listen,
it. I hate
your
seeing tax increase.
inaccuracies are going to be scooped up and spread far and wide on other pages. Don't you
Oh,
worry
I wasn't
about it.
fine.
But
That's
I wasn't speculating. It was in the agenda. So
No,
anyway.
it's not a speculation. It's not that it's inaccurate. It's just not fully transparent.
Right, you're not fully transparent. I know you plan to be fully transparent soon. Lori, do you want us to talk about? We got something else you want us to talk about, right? I have no idea what's going on here, but
No, you want me to, I don't
we
know
got
what it
something
is.
coming up for the women's club that
Oh, here you
Dan's going to chat about. We have what are we doing here, Lori? You got to explain it. I have no idea what's going on. Come on, you're good at public speaking. You do it all the time at town council meetings. So
Yeah, but I know what it means to come on your show and how things get twisted.
I am.
Yeah, who are you voting for? How much money do you make?
Oh, Ed's leaving. I'm safe. We're good. So we have the 2026 Christmas Tree Festival raffle tickets. Our trips this year are the Grand Canyon, Nashville, or Charleston. We tried to keep it more local because people didn't want to fly. The early bird drawings are
Well, they're going to
October.
have to fly to the Grand Canyon.
I don't know. Did you ever take a family road trip?
No, but I did camp in the Grand Canyon, and I would recommend whoever wins that you take the Grand Canyon
There
trip.
you go. Our early bird drawings are on October 10th, November 2nd, and December 1st. They will be $250 each. If you buy a VIP ticket, we are having a special VIP drawing for only VIP tickets this year. There are going to be 5 drawings at the Christmas Tree Festival. December 12th is the grand prize drawing, and the Christmas Tree Festival this year is December 11th and 12th at Margaritaville.
I can't believe we're already talking, right? Christmas in July. Well, that's what they talk about. Now, is this where if you win, the ticket goes back in, or no?
If you win one of the
Money
drawings, you go back in for the trip.
Okay. So then the trip will be drawn
At the festival.
Okay. And you're going to pick Grand Canyon if you win that trip. And how much?
The tickets are $20 each, or
Okay.
$6 for $100 for the women's club.
All right. Anything else you want to tell us about that?
No, that's it. Thank you very much.
Perfect. Glad we got you on there. All right, come on, Dan. We got to eat up some time. Hello. So the other day, thank you.
I'm back.
It takes him a long time to go to the
So
bathroom.
let's ask the question. I posted it today.
Okay.
So would you stop and collaborate and listen? Would you stop believing? Would you stop and hammer time? Or would you? What was the other one? No, there was 3 of them that was on this. It was.
I would definitely stop, drop, and roll if that was one of the options.
No, it was something. Every time I hear someone yell "stop," it makes me think: should I stop and listen? MC Hammer. It was a play on songs from the '90s, and so which one would you do? Would you MC Hammer? Would you Vanilla Ice? Or it was "Stop in the Name of Love"?
I'm going to stop in the name of love.
Oh,
I mean, who's not going to do that?
But
Or
Howie,
collaborate.
Howie had a good one. He's like, "Don't stop believing."
There you go.
So there's more out there, but I thought it was kind of fun
That
thing
was
for a
kinda
Sunday
fun.
morning. Shh, here he comes.
That I know. Don't.
Hey,
talk
what's
about
up, buddy?
him.
Did you? He didn't want to come on.
All right. Well,
All
since
right.
you're going till noon,
Whatever.
now I
What
gotta
else
go.
did we cover? What else do we want to cover? What other updates? Still moving forward with the school discussions in the
Oh,
ILA.
yeah.
So
Oh yeah, let's talk about that real quick. You're putting together 6 committees tomorrow.
yeah,
Explain why.
So essentially, it's there to be able to answer all the questions that people want to ask, right, or want answered. How are you going to pay for it? How are you going to staff it? Who's going to run it? Who's going to do all those kind of things? And I think you'll see tomorrow the staff has got a pretty good laid out plan of having 6 committees of 3 people, I believe it is, from the community that could come out and see where it goes. But you have to do that in concert at the same time that you're doing with the ILA with the school board, because there's a timeline to when you have to submit your application if we decide a charter school is the way to go down. But the first key point, obviously, is to get the interlocal agreement done with the county so that we are in control of what the destination. Maybe it won't be a school. Maybe it will. Maybe it won't. We don't know. I mean, that's the goal, is to have a school. But once you have these committees in place, they can talk it through. They can make the recommendation to staff and council, and then we make the ultimate decision.
Do you have a grasp of how a charter school would be fully funded? Yeah.
I'm sure staff does. I'm sure. Staff's been working on it. They've met with the Boca School. They've met with others. Speaking of Cars on Fifth, there's been discussion with them about the money they raise for their charity going to potentially the school fund. So there's a lot of different things that are being talked about. I know that money is obviously the big thing. The goal would obviously be to not have it cost the residents any money. That's the ultimate goal, and that's what the committees would be doing. They would be putting together that information, making recommendations, and then it would go to council. But again, we've got to get the ILA done with the county.
And
Or with the school board, sorry.
So somebody commented that those committee members are volunteers. Nobody's being paid.
Yeah, there's not a paid.
I don't know where that came from. There's none of the committee members in Fort Myers Beach are paid.
The only people that make any money is the council members.
You don't make any money. That's hilarious too, right there. So, anything else?
It almost covers gas.
Do we have any new information on the beer fest at the
Beer fest.
at the 6 confirmed breweries for the October?
What's the
10th,
date?
October 10th. How dare you forget that? Everybody knows what that date is. It's going to be a big birthday celebration on that day.
Yeah,
October 10th. It will be at Bay Oaks this year.
Yes.
And there's still
Risen
some
Lady will be playing. Yeah.
sponsorship opportunities. If you want, just reach out to me and I'll connect you with Megan if you're interested in sponsoring. Big hand for the mayor of Venezuela, everybody, Dan Allers. Before you hang up the phone, Power Block Builders, everybody. And Eagle Strike Roofing, a dedicated roofing company focused on protecting your entire home from top to bottom. Backed by the same commitment to quality, craftsmanship, and customer service that built their reputation in home building, Eagle Strike Roofing is the number to call. Please call them today at 239-406-8520. 239-406-8520. Remember, the after show is what we do on the drive home after we get over the bridge. And that's when Kim really insults me. She does a lot of insulting during the show, but it really steps up her game on the ride home. All right, and our final sponsor of the day is Eagle Eye Aluminum. Not just specializing in soffit, fascia, gutters, and rescreens anymore. They are partnering with remodeling contractors. They're also doing pool cages. The last thing you want is for a rat to crawl through your broken pool cage. That's the worst. Nobody likes rats and snakes in their pool. I like it when a rabbit comes through the pool, though. You know, we love the rabbits. We have a lot of rabbits at our house. We're trying to figure out what you feed a wild rabbit. What do you feed a wild rabbit to keep them coming around? Dan's got a pet rabbit.
Yeah, so we do. So
you have a pet rabbit?
No, we don't, but we think we do now. So what, the last few days, our Rottweiler Axel has got a love hate. So this bunny has come around the last few days, and they just stand nose to nose in our, we've got like an oval glass door on our front door, and they just stand nose to nose. And I'm like, let's let it in. And it's like, absolutely not. I can imagine the furniture would be upside down, dishes would be broke, the dog would be trying to pick it up.
Do you think the question of the day is, can a Rottweiler catch a wild rabbit? Do you think a Rottweiler can catch a wild rabbit?
I don't know. If you saw how this dog can snap hibiscus flowers off a hibiscus plant,
yes,
that is the fastest dog I've ever seen. You take him out back on the leash, and all of a sudden he's like, and that whole, which we're confident. Like, I love my wife to death, but she doesn't have a green thumb. She can't grow anything, right?
Oh, here we
go. She just can't.
Here we go. This is the after show.
She'll be the first to admit it. But somehow these hibiscus plants are blossoming, and I think it's because the dog prunes them.
I see. All right.
I think it's because the dog eats.
Get out of here, Dan. Get out of here. You need a mayor with personality. That you guys have a mayor with personality on this beach. Anyway, if you have a hole in your pool cage, whether it's a rat, a rabbit, or a Rottweiler coming through, call Eagle Eye Aluminum. They do big jobs, small jobs. They've worked on the Hotka House. Give Tom Coleman a call, 239-340-1639. 239-340-1639. And this November, property tax reform. Vote maybe. See you next week, everybody. Bye-bye.